our grand upline, the legend, the successful person, the V partner, Arun George. All right. Fantastic. Amit, thank you so much. As usual, I forgot to record it. I didn't know that I would get such a fantastic introduction for the $100 I sent you. But yeah, that was definitely good. So how are you, everyone? This is Arun George. I'm coming to you live from my house in Chicago, in US. I hope that you and your loved ones are safe and well. I love this time. It is sad what's going on outside with the virus and the diseases and people losing job and all that. But I love the fact that we are able to do what we can do online. I'm told that we have close to 20,000 people in the session spread all across the globe, from Far East Asia to South Asia to Middle East to Europe to North America. Awesome. I can, I've been in meetings and trainings and calls today from almost 5 a.m. my time. And the fact that I can just wake up, brush, clean up and then get started is just amazing. I don't even have to get dressed fully. So you can see what, I'm wearing under this. You have to guess whether I'm fully, dressed or am I just wearing a shorts or whatever. But I'm sure, many of you are also enjoying this luxury of doing business from home. I know that many of you have listened to me in the past, but there are many of you who are seeing me and hearing me for the first time. So, sorry, I need to slow down. There is translation happening. Okay, I forgot. So, grab your tea or coffee or water or whatever, and let's chat a bit. Okay, it's 11:30 in the morning for me here, and I have my green tea here, and let's relax and get to know each other a bit and learn a little bit from my journey. Okay, I know that some of you have your family listening to this call, and that is fantastic. Hi to your family. By now, all your uplines have conveyed to you the message that you're a moron if you're just sitting at home and not doing anything, waiting for the lockdown to be over. So I hope that message is loud and clear to you already. And I don't want to repeat it, okay? I believe that you are already following it. If not, you would not be watching this. Instead of watching this, you would be maybe watching Netflix or something else. And by the way, I have realized one thing. You actually spend more time searching for videos on Netflix than actually watching them. First of all, you have my love and respect for venturing into this journey to achieve financial freedom for you and your family. In spite of all the doubts and fear you had about the business, you still decided to give it a try. And that deserves applause. Okay? I have met so many people who just love to complain and blame other people for all their problems. Now, in fact, all of us have that to some degree, some people more than the other. And I had that too. But we still made that first step to get started in this journey. And this journey will completely change you, inside and outside. It will not only make you rich on the outside, it will enrich you from the inside too. It will enrich your mind. Okay? So shall we start by telling you a little bit about my background story? Would you want to hear that? About my childhood, about how I got started in the business, my first few years in the business, and all that stuff. Okay? You sure? All right, I will tell you. We got plenty of time, so we can talk a lot. I was born in the year in a small town. Okay? You didn't hear the year? Maybe some technical problem. Okay, let me repeat. I was born in the year in a small town in... No? Couldn't hear the year? Maybe your internet is wrong. Some problem with your internet. So I was born in this small town in the south of India, in Kerala, near Cochin. Okay? Both my parents worked in government jobs. My dad was with the Indian Army, and my mother worked as a nurse with the Indian Railways at the railway hospital. So it's a normal middle-class Indian household, right? And I have a brother who is 3 years younger to me. I did my schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya. So from the first grade to the 12th grade, I went to KV, Kendriya Vidyalaya. And after 12th, I went to college in Chennai. I joined the Institute of Hotel Management in Adyar, in Chennai. Don't ask me why I did it. My parents wanted me to become a doctor or at least an engineer. Okay. Apparently, you need good marks in your 12th grade and also need to clear the entrance exam to get into medical or engineering college. Who has the time to get good grades, especially when you are busy going to school? I couldn't get into medical or engineering. And one of my seniors from school told me about this new career path in hotel management. Okay, he said that as soon as I complete the course, I could work as a chef or a GM in 5-star hotels. Okay, so suddenly I was lit up with this possibility of working in the school 5-star hotels around the world. So I applied, wrote the test, got called for the interview, and got accepted. Okay. Only after a few months after I joined, I came to know that what I thought was not true. Only about 1% of the students would ever get into the top managerial positions of a 5-star hotel. And those who did, they did so after about 15-20 years. Most people worked in middle managerial positions or even supervisory positions throughout their life. And most of them not even in 5-star hotels, but mostly in 3 or 4-star hotels. All right. Some of you listening to this, some of you in this session, you might have done hotel management. You might be doing it. I don't know. Or you might know people who are doing it. If you know people doing it, please be kind to them. All right. In the second year, we have something called as a 6-month industrial training program. All right. So it's a 3-year course. And during the second year for 6 months, we go to a hotel and work in almost all the major departments in the hotel. Okay. It's called industrial training. So I got accepted into Sheraton in Chennai and I trained there for 6 months. Worked in all the major departments. Okay, these 6 months opened my eyes to the reality of working in hospitality industry. I was completely disillusioned. As a trainee, I was working for 10 to 12 hours a day for 6 days a week. And not only me, I could see even the full-time employees work for about 10 hours a day for 6 days a week, and sometimes 7 days a week. And all of them complained about their pay. Okay, now while I was training, I got peanuts because I was a trainee. But even the people who have been working there for a few years in decent positions as full-time employees, even they complained about their pay. I decided that this is not what I want to do with my life, But what can I do? I'm already halfway through my college. So my brain went into overdrive. I started thinking, oh my God, what can I do? What options? It's already halfway through the course. What do I do? Now, see, I'm a Keralite, okay? Outside of Kerala, one of the places with the highest Keralite population is Middle East. So I decided that's what I will do. As soon as I graduate, I will go to Middle East and get a job there. Okay. These jobs, I was thinking the jobs there should be paying much better than the jobs in India, and the hotels would be much better than the hotels in India. All right. So with that thought, I comforted myself and decided to complete the course and get the certificate and just, go out to Middle East. So like any other 19, 20-year-old during this 3-year vacation we call as college, my only goal was to graduate and have a good time. Okay. So let me take a sip. In college, some of us make some very good friends. I made so many good friends, and some of them actually later became key business partners with me in QNet. Okay. Now, some of us go to college and we not only get degree and some great friends, we also managed to get a wife. It was during the final year in college that I got close to to this beautiful girl who's my wife today. Now, she did not study in the same college as mine. She was in a different college, and I knew her even before, but it was during the last year in college that we got closer. Okay, her name is Mary. Her mother and my mother knew each other. They studied nursing together. And her mother's family and my mother's family, they were from the same part in Kerala. The family knew each other a bit. And she was in Chennai doing her bachelor course in physiotherapy. Okay. As soon as I graduated, I started trying to get a visa for Middle East. Okay. And it would take a few months. Those of you who have done it, it's not immediate. It'll take a few months. And I decided that I should get some experience during these few months that will take for me to get the visa. Okay. If I have experience certificates from good 5-star hotels, then maybe getting a job in the Middle East will be easier. Okay. So I called up my friends. All right. My close friends were planning to go to Delhi, New Delhi, for a job search. And I said, okay, let me also join you. And we all reached there. I thought that the 5-star hotels would be so happy to hire us. You know, who doesn't want this young, freshly minted graduates of hotel management? It turned out nobody wanted. After 2 weeks of walking up and down the HR department of 5-star hotels, we thought, okay, let's try 4-star hotels. You know, they would just grab us and make us into managers straight away, right? Wrong. Even they didn't want us. So now we started going to 3-star hotels. Okay, so I got a job in a 3-star hotel in Gurgaon. It was owned by a family, and they ran the hotel themselves, completely unprofessional. They treated the staff like their personal servants. After 1 month, I had enough. I quit. Okay, and by then, me and my friends decided to do whatever job we could find. Okay, not just only stick to hotels, but maybe just find whatever job we could. And then on the side, we'll keep looking for a hotel, you know, a 5-star hotel, and get a good job. Okay. So one of my friends joined a security company. Another one joined a timeshare sales company. You know, me and another friend joined a small catering company in Connaught Place. And we kept trying for jobs at 5-star hotels, but it wasn't happening. Okay. I was in Delhi for about 8 to 10 months before I got my visa for Middle East. In those 8 to 10 months we were there, we made so many plans on how to become successful and rich. Okay. Every night we would have a new business idea. At times, one would say, you know, one of my friends would say, let's migrate to Europe or Australia or Canada. Okay. And then he would bring this ad in a newspaper advertising migrating to Europe or Australia or Canada. And we would call those companies and we would meet with them. They would ask us a few questions, and then they would say, sorry guys, you don't qualify. Okay, so nothing worked out. But when you're with your buddies, you know, with your close friends, you really don't feel depressed. Okay, we had lots of fun each day. Throughout my time in Delhi, I stayed in touch with Mary. I would call her almost every week. You know, her hostel allowed incoming calls for students only on weekends. So I would call her almost most Saturdays. Okay. As days passed by, I started hating this idea of job. Okay. My 6 months of hotel training during college had already got me scared about the idea of working in a job for 40 years. Okay. And after that experience, and then the experience of job hunt in Delhi, and then this experience of 2-3 different jobs that I held, I really started having nightmares about jobs. You know, I would think, how do people keep doing this for 40 plus years? Even after slogging for 10 plus hours a day, the money wasn't enough. Not just for me, you know, everyone I knew in all the companies I worked for complained about not having money, from the lowest of the employees to the top managers. You know, I really hope there was another option for me. Okay. I actually even started thinking about farming, like agriculture. That's all I have seen growing up. Okay, my parents were employees, and my uncles were farmers. So, and nobody in my family did any business. So the only options to earn money that I have seen my entire life was either working in a job or farming. Okay. Now, by the time it was about 8 months there, my cousin brother from Bahrain, he organized a visa for me. Okay. It cost a good amount of money, and my parents paid for it. And I really felt bad that, I was making my parents pay for me even after, I completed my education and got a job and all that stuff. As soon as I knew that the visa is getting ready, I left the job in Delhi and went home to Kerala. Okay. It would take about 1 to 2 months to complete all the formalities to travel abroad. And I was really hoping that the job situation would be different in Middle East, that the pay would be better, the hotels would be better, and things like that. Okay, and I wanted to meet Mary before I flew out. I was already in love with her, so I went to Chennai, and I also had to get some documents signed by my college. Okay, so during those days, I was in Chennai. I met Mary every day. I felt like asking her if she would marry me. Okay, I was scared. I didn't ask, but I used to think, if I don't ask, then I don't know when I would come back. She would finish her course in about a year. She was doing her degree in physiotherapy, and she would be done in another 1 more year or so. And but I still couldn't gather the strength and courage to propose to her. Okay. So then I went back to Kerala, and my days of leaving to Bahrain was approaching very fast. All right. And I still haven't proposed. I still don't know whether, she would agree to marry me. Now, it almost was the final weekend before I was to fly out to Bahrain. Okay. So if I don't make the call that day, then it will be tough, and I'll have to probably call from Bahrain or whatever. And I gathered the strength. I said, okay, I will call her. Okay. Now, we didn't have mobile phones at that time, and I didn't want to call her from the phone at my house. Okay. Now, we had paid telephone booths at that time. Some of you would know. All right. There was a paid telephone booth near to my house. So I told my parents that I was going out to make a call at night. And if you remember, after 11 p.m., the long distance calls were. So I told my parents I was going out to make the call, at around 10:30 or so. They asked who I wanted to call. Who do you want to call? I said, it's a friend. So then they asked me, why don't you call from the house? Why do you want to go to the booth? I mumbled something, and then I left. I went to the booth. There were already few people there to make the call. Okay, it was already 11 p.m. And I actually waited till everybody made their calls and left. Some people came in after me. Okay, and the telephone booth guy told them, when they were going to make the call, they told them that I was here first. But then I told them, no problem, let them make their phone calls. So I waited for almost 30-40 minutes because I didn't want anybody else to hear me making the phone call. Okay. And then I called. The watchman at her hostel picked up the phone. I asked for Mary. She came to the phone. I could literally hear my heart beating. Okay. I think even the telephone booth guy could hear my heart beating. That was that loud. And I was sweating so hard. Okay. It was like the closing call you make to your most important prospect. All right. We spoke for some time, and I still didn't ask her. Okay. And then finally, just before ending the call, I told her that, I want to ask you something. She said, I know. I asked, you know what I want to ask you? Or you know that I want to ask you something? She said, yeah, I know. So I asked her, what do you think I want to ask you? She said, no, you go first, you tell. What do you want to ask? I said, no, you tell me what you were thinking. And she said, see, we can go back and forth all night like this, but you will be wasting your money and your parents are waiting at home. So go ahead and better ask me what you want to ask. So I asked her if she would marry me. Okay. And she said, I knew this is what you were going to ask. I said, okay, so will you marry me? She said, yes. Now, the telephone booth guy, even though he couldn't hear much of the conversation, he understood completely what was going on. Okay. He was smiling from ear to ear. He was smiling, looking at me. I was blushing and smiling. My shirt was soaked wet. So it was like, okay, closing finished. I did my sign up. It's that kind of a feeling. And I was singing on my way back home. As soon as I opened the gate, my mother came out. She asked me, why did it take so long? I said, there were so many people, the line was not getting connected and all that stuff. I just couldn't sleep that night. Okay. In 2 days' time, it was time for me to fly out. So, it's like signing up your direct is not just, it's not enough. You have to now build the whole team around it. So I have told Mary, but that's not enough. I have to, get consent from my parents, her parents, this whole team has to be built around it, right? So I had to tell this to my parents. And I would need my parents to call Mary's parents. So how do I tell my parents? I'm scared again. So I would roam around my father and mother, looking for the most suitable moment to tell them. They could also sense that I had something to tell, because I was just roaming around too much around them, looking for the right moment. Then finally I said, there's no point dancing around. I have to tell. Okay, there's no much time. So I prayed, and then I went to tell them. My mother was in the kitchen, and my father was in the dining room next to the kitchen. Now, when I think about it, I shouldn't have told them when my mother was in the kitchen. Okay, in the kitchen, she has access to all the knives and pots and pans and all that. But thank God, nothing happened. So I told them, I love Mary and I want to marry her. There were a few seconds of silence. Again, I could hear my heart beating, My mother finally broke the silence and she asked me, does her family know? I said, she hasn't told them yet. But you both will have to call them and talk. Now, my mother She told me, you are 22 years now. You are 22 years old. You don't have a job. You don't have a steady income. So first, you go find a job. Be capable to support a family. Earn some money for yourself. And then we shall talk about all this. Okay? I said, okay, but at least can you talk to her parents? Okay? I was thinking in my mind that at least if all the parents agreed, then yeah, we could wait for however long. At least, it's like doing the information call to your prospects. At least you've conveyed the message, and then when the time is right, we could move forward. So my parents didn't, want to call her parents at that time, and they said we will do it, but don't worry about it right now. And then it was the day for me to fly out to Bahrain. All right. I had never traveled in a plane until then. I have actually not even seen a plane, or even went to an airport. Okay. I still remember my first flight. I had no idea how to fasten the seatbelt or switch on the TV or anything at all. I had bought the cheapest economy ticket available, and I was sitting there stuck between people in a full plane. Okay. See, nowadays, when I fly first class, where you don't have a seat, actually, you have a suite instead of a seat, where you can close the door and it will convert into this space like a mini room where you have the mini fridge, huge TV and all that. But I still remember that very first flight I took. I was so tensed all the time, and it was like fresh off the boat. Had no idea what was going on, and I landed in Bahrain. Okay. I was 22 years old, and this was my first time I ever went to a foreign country, so far away from home. All right. And it was August, one of the hottest months in Middle East. The first few weeks, I was homesick, and I was job hunting. Okay. See, when you go to another country, one of the things that Indians do before we spend money is, in our mind, we convert. Okay. We convert the currency there into Indian rupees, just to get an idea of how much money we are spending. All right. So I would convert dinars to rupees for every expense, and that would give me a shock. Now my cousin was working, and he did not have much of a free time, so I had to do most of the job hunting by myself. All right. And to go anywhere, the taxi would charge about 3 to 5 dinars minimum, which is like 500 rupees at that time. And that would be for like a 10-minute ride. Okay. And I would think, for 500 rupees back in Kerala, I can rent a car for, half a day. So I would walk. All right. It's not that easy to change the mindset. Right? So even in that hot sun, I would sometimes walk either to the interview, most probably from the interview, okay, after I finished the interview. In Bahrain, I had 2 friends who also did hotel management. One was working as a chef, and the other as a manager in a hotel, okay? It was Manoj and Balaji. Manoj worked as a manager in the same hotel. I went, I met them, and it was good touching base with friends. I really felt good. All right. And then I found a job in a hotel. After I joined, within a few weeks, I realized that most people in that hotel have been working there for a long time, and people hardly moved up rank. Okay, it was a small hotel. All right, and then I changed that job. Now, to make a long story longer, I changed a few more jobs, and all of them were pretty much the same. All right, the pay was okay. I might have some saving left at the end of the month, but not much. Okay, after a few months of working in various hotels, again that nightmare feeling about job and the money not being enough started to happen. Okay, I would calculate that if I save this much money every month, after 10 years, how much will I have? And that wasn't very exciting, and I knew that I will not be able to save that much every month. That was not possible. And even if that was possible, it's still not much. And I could hear people who say, that every time they go on a vacation back to India, they're almost, their savings are wiped out. All right. So they work for 1 or 2 years, go on a vacation, most of the savings is finished, come back, again, repeat the same thing. And I did not want to do that. And now the thought of leaving hotel industry became stronger. All right, I thought I have had enough. So I was looking for a break elsewhere. But the problem was I did not have the education to look for like a good job in any other industry. Now, one day I saw an ad in the newspaper, a job ad, okay? Unilever was looking for a sales executive with hotel management background. I was so happy. Said, okay, great company. Sales means I can make good money, and they need a qualification which I have. So I applied. All right. I got called for an interview. I met with the department manager. His name was Max, and he interviewed me. Nice guy. He offered me the job. But then when we were talking over the finer details, there was one major issue. I needed driving license and a car, as it's a sales job. And for some reason, they forgot to ask me if I had a driving license. And this never came up during the whole selection and interview process. I was heartbroken. Okay. I didn't know what to do. I thought, this was the perfect opportunity for me. The pay was good. The job was good. The company was good. But, unfortunately, I didn't have the license. But, I tried. I tried convincing Max. I told him, I will get the license somehow. I will apply for it right away. I'll do whatever. I'll get it in a month. Okay. Please keep the job for me. He said, that would be tough. Anyway, you apply for your license and we can see. And I applied for the license. I did not know that to get a driving license in Middle East, it was so tough, right? In Bahrain at that time, it took almost 4 months and 2 or 3 attempts for me to pass my driving test, okay, and get the license. So after I got the license, the same day I called Max. I told him that I got my license. license, I asked him if that position was available. And he told me that the position he interviewed me for was gone. Okay, but he had another sales position for a new range of products. Okay, so he asked me to come in. Probably he liked my determination. Anyway, I went. I got the job. Okay, he wanted me to join immediately, but then I had to give at least a month's notice to my current employer. I just cannot leave the same day. But he told me that I cannot wait for another month. Now I managed to talk to my current company and get the notice period down to 2 weeks. And during those 2 weeks, I told Max that during those 2 weeks, I will come to your office every day so that I can learn. All right, you don't have to pay me. I'm not on the payroll, but I will come here every day in the morning. And so you can train me. I can get to know what's going on. And so that after 2 weeks, when I start my job officially, I can hit the road running. Okay. Now, my only intention was to make sure that I don't lose that job. Okay, because that was an opportunity that I really wanted. All right. I immediately bought an old car, a 20-year-old Toyota Corolla. Okay, red color. That's all what I could afford at that time. The air conditioning didn't work that well. It made funny noise while driving. The floor seemed to be rusted. At times I would think if I were to step on the floor with force, maybe the floor might fall off. Okay. Now my job at the hotel started only at 3 p.m. Okay, and it went on till about midnight. So morning 7 o'clock, I would be at Max's office, and then from there, I will go to the hotel straight at 3 o'clock, and then I work there until midnight. And then the next day again at 7 a.m., I would go to Max's office. I did this for 2 weeks. I was willing to make sure that I don't lose that opportunity. Now, my job was to sell some industrial grade cleaning products that hotels and hospitals needed, all right? But I had zero sales experience, like nothing. I've never sold anything in my life. But I was so thankful for the opportunity that I worked real hard. Okay, I was willing to knock any door, meet anyone to get the sale. And just within a few months, my sales started growing. My commission started growing. My boss was happy, and he was a good boss. All right, as long as I got sales, he didn't really bother what time I came in, what time I left, or where I went, or whatever. Okay, so I love that freedom, and at least now I was not having those nightmares about job. Okay, Mahendra Kumar was my colleague at Unilever. We both worked as salespeople under Max. His background was that of an engineer, and my background was hotel management. Okay, both of us had no education or experience in sales, but yet we did well. Okay, and we became very good friends. In a few months, I changed that old 20-year-old Toyota to a 3-year-old white Nissan Sunny. Every weekend, I would go visit Manoj and Balaji. We'd play cricket and video games. We would go out to clubs and some restaurants. And Balaji would cook something special for us during the weekend. It was fun time. Okay, it was like my routine During the weekend, this is what I do. During the week, this is what I do. And I think about 20-30% of my salary just went on calling Mary every weekend, every Saturday. All right. Now, it has been about 4 months since I joined Unilever. Okay. Things are going okay. Job-wise, I'm happy. Money is good. I mean, compared to whatever I have been earning until then, this was much better. All right, I could save something at the end of the month. All right. One Friday afternoon, okay, and Friday is a weekend in Middle East, right? It was an afternoon. I had my lunch, nice biryani, and relaxing on the sofa. I said, all right, no problem. But what's happening at Delman Hotel? He said, someone is going to come and teach us how to make money. All right. So I said, okay, that sounds interesting. I'll see you in the evening. And then I continued watching the movie. At around 7 p.m., I was heading out from my apartment, okay, to go to the meeting. My cousin brother, who was my roommate, he asked me, where are you going? I said, somebody is coming to Delman Hotel. They want to tell how to make money and all that. He laughed. He said, okay, take this bag with you so that when you come back, you can fill in some money and bring it back to us. So by 7:30, I reached the hotel. Kumar was there. I asked him what it was, and he said, someone has come from Dubai, and they're doing a seminar on making money and becoming rich. So we went in. A few more people from our company were there. Kumar had invited some more people. We all chatted for a while. After about 30 minutes or so, the program started. Okay. There were about 50 chairs in that hall and just 10 to 15 of us, right? So we were just 10 to 15 people, but there were about 50 chairs. And the guy spoke for almost 2.5 hours. He spoke about economy, inflation, network marketing, industry, and so many things, okay? I did not understand much. And it was going on, was getting late. I had to go to work the next day. And at the end of the meeting, I thought this sounds like a scam, okay? I don't want to do this. The next day morning, I met Kumar in the office. I told him I didn't like it. All right. He said, that's fine, no problem. Okay. And he carried on with whatever he was doing. The next week, he called me again. He said, see, Arun, this guy from Dubai is here. I'm going to visit him. And join me. All right. I know what you told me last time and all that, but join me. I'm going to visit him. He's in the Delman Hotel. Let's go talk to him. All right. Now, I knew I wouldn't be doing the business. But Kumar is a good friend of mine, so no harm in going with him. So we went to the hotel. We met up with him and spoke for a couple of hours. Okay, just Kumar, me, and him. And he showed me the calculations, and somewhere during that discussion, especially when I started seeing the numbers, okay, a light bulb went on in my head. I felt like, I could earn some decent amount of money here. So I thought maybe I should give it a shot, okay? So I decided, okay, let's try it. And while I was looking at the numbers, I figured out that by getting started with maximum BV product is the best thing to do. Okay, I figured out that much. He was not trying to make me buy that, but I just figured out that with maximum BV, I have maximum potential. Okay, and I would earn more money for the same sales I make. So I wanted to start with the highest BV product the company had at that time. Only one problem. I didn't have the money. I had about half the money needed, but I didn't have full. Okay, so I thought I will use the credit card, all right, and I can take a few months to pay off the credit card. I tried multiple times over 2-3 days to make the purchase with my credit card. Didn't go through. For some reason, it was getting declined. And Kumar said, Arun, the card is not going through. All right, you will have to get a bank draft. I said, no problem, but I don't have the money. So he said, you will have to organize it. I said, okay, I will organize the money. So I decided I will borrow it. Okay. Now I called Balaji and I asked him, okay, I told him there's something very important. I need to borrow so much money from you. Okay. Now, when you ask somebody for money, the natural first question they ask you is, why do you need that money? What do you need it for? Okay. So Balaji asked me the same question. Why do you need the money? I said, something very important. Okay. I can't tell you. I'll tell you later, but it's something very, very important. Can you have this money ready by today or tomorrow? Okay. I'll come and pick it up. He said, okay, I'll get it from the ATM today. When I go back from the hotel to the apartment, I'll get it. You can either come tonight or tomorrow morning before I go to work and pick it up from you. So I went that same night and then picked it up. And the next day I made the draft and, I made the purchase. So that's how I got started. Now, after I got started, I called Balaji and I asked him, hey, do you want to know why I borrowed the money from you? So he said, yes, I want to know. I said, okay, be ready this weekend. I will come and pick you up and we will go to a friend's house and you will understand why I borrowed the money from you. He was, what is that? I said, don't worry, we'll meet up and then you will understand everything. So he said, okay. And, that weekend I picked him up. We went to Kumar's house and Kumar explained the business. And Balaji said, yeah, this sounds good. I want to try it also. I said, okay, let's try. Balaji can call Manoj, okay? So Balaji borrowed money from Manoj. Manoj asked him, why do you need this money? So Balaji said something very important. It is for something very important. I'll tell you later. Okay, so he borrowed the money, he bought the product. And then Balaji asked Manoj, hey Manoj, do you want to know why I borrowed the money from you? He said, yes. Okay. Arun and I will pick you up tomorrow and we will go to a friend's place and you will be blown away. Okay, you will know what that is. So he said, okay, let's I'll find out. And I went there. I picked both of them. We went to Kumar's house and Kumar explained the business. And Manoj said, okay, not bad. If both of you are doing, then I will also give it a try. All right. Now Manoj was working as a manager in the hotel for a longer period of time. So he had the savings, okay, and he did not have to borrow from anybody else. So he just withdrew the money and he bought the product, and that's how we got started. Kumar actually started the business just few weeks before I started, and Kumar was the very first person to sign up in QNet in Bahrain. Okay, at that time there were a few people doing the business in Dubai, and Kumar got introduced by a colleague working in Unilever in Dubai. They were working together in Bahrain before, and this guy a couple of years back had gone to Dubai, and he's joined QNet, and he called up Kumar, and then this guy's upline flew down to Bahrain, and that was the guy who did the first presentation to us. And within that 1 or 2 weeks, Kumar learned a little bit on how to do the presentation and just the basics of the business. All right. So here we were, my upline, who was 2 weeks senior to me in the business, me and my friends. Okay, a few of them, and a few other people also from our company had started in the business along with Kumar, and this is how we started. Okay. Now I am a very shy introvert person. Okay, I don't talk to people much unless it's important. I can sit next to a stranger in a 12-hour flight and not talk to that person at all. So I am a very introvert, shy kind of a person. So I knew that for me to build this business, I only have a small group of people. Okay, I made my contact list, and there were, 20 people, 21. That's it. Okay, because at that time I had to make the list of the people who I knew and who are in Bahrain. Okay. We did not know how to sponsor people from other countries at that time. So, and Kumar also didn't know how to present to them, how to do what and all that. So he said, let's stick with the people whom you know in Bahrain. And when I had signed up, I was in Bahrain for a total of about 18 months. That's it. Okay. So I made the list, about 20 people. 2 cousins, Manoj, Balaji, and another friend of mine. They signed up. Okay. All the others said no. So in about 1 month's time, I had gone through presenting all this 20, 21 people. Majority of them said no, and these were the about 4, 5 people who signed up. Okay. Now, what do I do after that? Because that's all the people I know. So then I started sitting with the people who signed up with me and made them write the list. Okay. And told them to tell one thing to their people, that today or tomorrow or whatever the time was, a good friend of mine is going to come and pick you up, and we are going to go to a place. All right. And, there will be something spectacular there. All right. So don't ask too many questions. Just come with us, and then we can discuss everything after that particular meeting. Okay. So some people came, some people did not come. In essence, my job in the first 1 month was like that of a chauffeur. So I would go every evening after I finish my job at around 5, 6 o'clock, take my car, go pick up 1 or 2 prospects of either my cousins or Manoj or Balaji, and then take them to Kumar's house. Kumar would do the whole presentation, and he will clear the objections or handle objections in whichever way he could. All right. He also is just like 2 weeks senior to me in the business, so he tried in whichever way he could. So some people joined, a lot of people did not join. Now slowly the team started growing. all right, I got my first check within 2 weeks, all right. My first check was $800. I was so happy. That was more than my salary in a month. Okay. The next check came after a couple of weeks. It was $400. Then after 2-3 weeks, another 400, 800, and all that stuff. And I was getting hooked onto the business. I really enjoyed this, this idea of talking about money, going and doing this whole thing. All right. And the best thing was I had my friends with me doing this. All right. Mahendra Kumar was a good friend of mine. Okay. Manoj, Balaji were there. My cousins were there. So I was really enjoying it. And that's how, I got started and built that initial team. Even though we didn't know much. Okay. There was hardly any training that we got. The company was very young at that time. They did not have all the training tools that they have today. But Kumar would try and get, buy books through Amazon or CDs or motivational audios and all that stuff, and he would give it to us. And this helped us stay motivated and keep moving forward. Okay. Now, in about a couple of months' time, I had more than 30-40 people in my team. Okay. And I was still doing the same thing. Go pick up people, take them to Kumar's house, Kumar do the presentation, and some of them sign up, some of them don't sign up. And I continued the same thing. All right. So after a couple of months, Kumar says that you have to start doing presentation. I don't have enough space at my house for all of you and your team and the other team that's there and all that stuff. So you have to now start taking care of your team and do the presentation and the other things for them. Okay. Now I was shocked. I was not expecting this. I didn't know that I will have to do it. And I was scared. The idea of talking to strangers and try to convince them something was very frightening for me. All right. So I brushed it aside. Okay. I did not tell him okay and then immediately start doing it. And I kept taking people again back to Kumar's house. After a week, he said, Arun, you cannot do this anymore. So I said, okay, I'm learning now. Okay, I'm learning, I'm observing and learning. And then it went on for another couple more weeks. He said, that's it. You cannot do it anymore. You have to do your own presentation. So I said, okay. And by that time, I was also getting a little bit confident because I've been listening to this every day. So I thought, no big deal. I mean, I can maybe say what he is saying, and then that's it. Every day the same thing. So it shouldn't be very difficult, right? So one of those days, one of my downlines called me, and he said that he has a prospect who was very convinced to start the business, but has some questions. Okay. So he asked me if I could go and do a complete presentation for this prospect and sign him up. And I thought, okay, the guy is already positive, he's convinced. His only major doubt was, should I start with a lower BB product or a higher BB product? Okay. And that is why this guy wanted me to go, because I can share my experience of starting with a high BB product. All right. So I thought, okay, worst case scenario, what can happen? Maybe he might not buy a higher BB product. Maybe he'll start with something lower. All right. That's a worst case scenario. So I said, okay, I'll go. And this would be my first presentation. Okay. So I called up that prospect. He's a doctor. in one of the biggest hospitals in Bahrain. Okay, so I called him up. His name was Dr. Muhammad, and he said, okay, the next day I can go to his clinic, his office, and he gave me a time of around 11 o'clock in the morning. So I said, okay, I will come. And that evening I went, I took some printouts from the website about the products, about the company, bought a folder, made some nice folder with the photos of products and company details and all that stuff. And I was prepared, all right, to go and do my first presentation. So the next day, I called up the doctor, reconfirmed the appointment, and went to his office, that small reception area in one side of the hospital. So I told the receptionist, I'm here to meet Dr. Muhammad, and I have an appointment with him at 11. So she called the doctor. The doctor came out, nice guy, and he led me to a small conference room near to the reception. There was a big table, and around that there were about 15 chairs or so. So he said, wait here for 2 minutes, I'll be back. And he left. So I sat there, I arranged the table, the folder, paper, pen, everything. And 2 minutes later, the door opened, doctor walked in, and behind him, another 4 or 5 other doctors walked in. And they all sat down. I was not prepared for this. I had come there to do a presentation to one person who was already convinced. Okay, so they all sat down and they said, okay, Dr. Muhammad said, Arun, go ahead, start. Now, again, I could hear my heartbeat, okay? And I said, okay, we'll start. And I started, my voice was trembling. I started, the first line, I started talking about various things. Within 2 minutes, one of the doctors interrupted me and asked me some question. Okay, do you know for sure that this company exists? All right. I said, yes, they have the website, they have the address on the website, their head office is in Hong Kong. And the doctor asked me, have you gone to Hong Kong and visited their head office? I said, no, but the address is there on the website. The doctor said, see, anybody can put anything on website. And I did not have an answer for that. So I said, okay, let me continue. Okay, and then I started continuing. And then within another 2 minutes, another doctor interrupted me. And he asked me another question for which I did not have a proper answer. 2 minutes later, another doctor interrupted me. Soon, all of them were talking and asking me questions. And I was opening my mouth to talk, but no sound would come out. I was tongue-tied. I didn't know what to say. So finally, I told all of them that all your questions will be answered in this folder. I passed that folder, I pushed the folder towards them, and I said, go through this, and then we can talk later. All right. So in about 10 minutes time, my presentation was done, and I ran away from there. Okay, I just left that room and went straight to my car and then drove home. I was so depressed. I mean, I didn't know what to say. I mean, I was not expecting this. I was thinking that, I would do a decent presentation. It would be for one person. Maybe I might even get the person to buy a product like I bought and all that stuff. The whole thing, the way it happened, affected me and my confidence and my belief in myself. And I thought, maybe that's it. I will not be able to do this business. Okay, I cannot do it by myself. I will have to depend on somebody all the time. And it is not humanly possible for my upline to take care of all my team. So that's it. This is the end of my business. And there's nothing I can do about it. And I was so depressed and sad the whole day. By evening, my upline called me. All right, Kumar called me, and every day he calls to find out what was happening and all that. So he could sense that there was something wrong from my voice. So he said, leave everything what you're doing right now, come and let's meet up. And he wanted me to go to a coffee shop nearby. He said, I will join you there also. So then we went, and he spoke to me for about an hour. And after that conversation, my confidence and my spirit was back up. Okay. I realized that the reason I messed up that presentation was not because of the prospects or me or anything. Okay. It's mainly because it was the first time I was doing something. All right. And to expect that the very first time I would do something and that to turn out to be perfect is stupidity. Never happens. All right. So I was stupid in the first place to expect that, that would be a perfect presentation. So, and this, I started seeing his point. And then we sat there and he went through the whole presentation. He made me do it to him. And while I was doing it, I felt more confident. I felt, this was the answer for what that doctor asked me, and for the other question, this was the answer. So answers are there. It's just that I could not think about it at that time. All right. So, my confidence was back on. And I started really learning presentation, okay, the whole thing. So for the next 1 week, I would go every day to Kumar's house. And when he was explaining the business to anyone, okay, I would sit there and write down word by word. Every single word he says, I would write it down. And in about a week's time, I had the complete presentation written down, okay, 10, 15 pages or whatever, word by word. And then I really learned it. I by-hearted it. All right. And then I practiced it a few times. And then I felt I was ready. Okay. So 2 weeks after that incident, I did my second presentation. And when I went to the presentation, I actually went with notes just to make sure that I don't forget things. Again, not the whole 15 pages, but the main points. All right. And the flow. And I kept it on the side while I was doing the presentation. Okay, no prospect asked me, why are you looking at the paper? And while you're doing the presentation, nobody cared. All right, so that was there. I did the presentation. At least I did the whole presentation. I did not run away. It lasted for maybe about an hour or so. Nobody joined, but I was happy because I completed the presentation, at least to my satisfaction. All right. And then I did the next one, and then the next one. And it was, and somebody started signing up after my fourth presentation. And I still remember my seventh presentation. Okay, there were 3 people. We were sitting in one of my downline's houses. All right. He had invited these 3 friends. I went there to do the presentation. And after the whole presentation is done, one of them pulled out the wallet and started counting money. I said, what happened? Why are you counting money? So he said, I want to buy this product that you showed. I want to get started. I was shocked. I said, are you sure? Don't you need to think about it? You mean you want to get started right now? He said, yes, I want to get started right now. This is good. And that was a time when somebody, then and there, signed up and got started. And that gave such a huge boost to my confidence and my belief in myself, and the fact that I might be able to actually do this business. All right. And from then on, I really started enjoying presentations. And I learned a very valuable lesson that one of the main reasons people don't enjoy the activities is because they don't feel comfortable. They don't feel comfortable doing it. Okay, and the paradox is that for any activity, for us to get comfortable, we have to practice it enough times. All right, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times. But it might take 5 or 10. It is not going to take 500 times. But those 5 or 10 times is going to be uncomfortable. Okay, and we will have to push through and still do it. Okay, like the phone call I was making to Mary, or the job hunts that I was doing that was not comfortable, and I really hated every moment of it. But as long as we are committed to the outcome, as long as we really want the outcome, we will push through. All right. Even though I was sweating and my heart was racing, I didn't know what to say. Words were not coming out, but I still made the phone call to Mary. All right. And she said yes. Okay. So as we keep doing the activities, we will get better at it. And once you get better at it, you will love doing it. All right. And that's what happened. I just loved doing presentations. And then I kept doing presentations every day, so many presentations. And the team literally started growing exponentially. All right. And then now that I know how to learn presentation, I started teaching it to my people. And they started getting it, and they started becoming very confident at it. All right. Now, all these things are things which you are already doing in your team. Okay, because your uplines are telling you what to do. All right. When I started, my upline was just 2 weeks in the business. There was no system, no methods, no nothing. A lot of the things we figured out by making mistakes. All right. So you are so lucky because your uplines have figured out the system by making tons of mistakes themselves so that you don't have to make. All right. So the only thing you have to do is make sure that you are following the system. All right. Now, as the team started growing, I started getting more and more serious about the business. I started reading books. I started attending trainings. After the first few months, when the company saw that there's a group of people in Bahrain doing business, they sent the first trainer to do a training. Okay, and that was none other than Chief Patman and Kuna Senatiraja, VP Kuna. Both of them flew down to Bahrain and they did a training, and it was mind blowing. I was convinced that this is a God-given opportunity. All right, this is something great. This is fantastic. All right, this is not a small business. This is not something like what I thought it was. Maybe just making some small money on the side. I just opened up my mind to the fact that this is a multinational business, which I can do. All right, so I started having my hopes up again. Okay. And probably dream is one of the most important aspects to succeed in the business. So in the training, Chief was talking about dreams and importance of having dreams and all that stuff. And in that age, with my situation, I could not really think of a big dream as such. I mean, I couldn't think of something that would really excite me. I mean, I could think of, $1 million car and this and that, but it was just something to have. I mean, it was not giving me the inside, inspiration. And then slowly it started to occur to me that if this works out, if I make this work out, okay, then I can actually quit my job. I don't have to do my job for 30, 40 years, repeating the same thing every day and not have enough money. So once that thought started to slowly grow in my mind, every small problem at work or something, it just gave me more fuel to think that, I don't want to do the job. All right. I want to be free. All right. So my first big dream was to be able to quit my job. Okay. And this thought really took hold in my mind while it was my 4th month in the business. Okay. So until now, I have had maybe a team of, maybe about 100 people, okay, in total, by 4 months' time. And this thought became stronger and stronger that, if I make this work, then I can quit my job. And then I will not have work forever in my life. And that was so exciting. Even the possibility of that was so exciting. Okay. So I made that my goal. And my goal was to earn 4 times my salary. Okay. Which means my monthly salary, the moment I start getting it every week, consistently for 2 months, then I would quit my job. Okay. So that was my goal at that time. And once I made that goal and started working towards it, it just took 6 months for me to achieve it. Okay, so in the month 10th month after I started the business, I reached that goal. And then, I submitted the resignation to Max. And by that time, actually, Kumar had signed up Max also. All right, but for some reason, Max never took the business seriously, but he knew that, I was doing it and why I was resigning my job and all that stuff. And he would tell me, Arun, do you really think this is going to last? Do you know this company? Do you trust this company? Why do you want to quit your job? And stuff like that. But, I had seen what he has not seen. I had seen the people from the company. I have interacted with them. I've seen the potential of the business. So, I was sure what I wanted to do. And then I resigned the job. Okay. So I gave 1 month notice. So 11 months from the date of signing up in QNet, I became unemployable. All right. And from the time I graduated to this time, it was just 3 years. All right. I graduated when I was 21. I signed up in QNet when I was 23. By 24, I resigned. Okay. So I had worked for just about 3 years in my whole life. And in those 3 years, I probably changed about 8 to 10 jobs. Okay. And I was really convinced that, I don't want to work in a job for the rest of my life. All right. I'm not against working, but just in that form of a job, I just didn't want to. Okay. And so that was my first big goal that I achieved. Now, after I resigned, every day, I would wake up, I don't know, maybe 11 o'clock. The first thing I would do was call my colleagues at work and annoy them. Okay, ask them, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I know you're working. Okay, I just got up. Now I'm going to relax. I'm going to watch TV a bit. You might be getting hammered by your boss. All right, best of luck. My good friends. I just, playing with them a little bit. Now, Before I resigned, I would wake up at around 6:30 every day, finish my work at around 7 o'clock, or 6 o'clock. And then until 2 in the morning, I would be having, meetings or something to do with the business. All right. And then I would sleep. Okay. This was what I used to do from the 4th month till the 11th month. Okay. From the time I really took the business seriously, which was the 4th month, until I resigned. Okay. Now that the dream was achieved, I was relaxing. Okay. I would wake up at 11, don't know what to do. Just go around a bit, and then evenings I would, talk to a few people. I was like this leader, just go and only do trainings or some testimonies. But I was like, living the dream. And it just took a few weeks before the business started slowing down. It started sliding backwards. And Kumar told me, Arun, if you go like this, you will not have a business. You will not have a team in the next few weeks. All right. It's very important to sustain the momentum. And I said, I'm doing and all that stuff. The usual thing you give to your upliners when the upline confront you for not, stepping up and working hard. Oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And things did not improve. All right. The next week he called me. He said, I'm telling this to you as a brother. You don't have a dream. You had a dream and you made that happen. Okay. Almost like a magic with the shortest time possible. But now you don't have a dream, and that is showing in everything that you do. So you need to have a vision, a goal, a dream, which will help you grow again. Okay. And what he said made a lot of sense. Okay. So I was thinking, what is important to me now? And that was the time when I was preparing for my wedding. Okay. My parents had spoken to Mary's parents and everything good, and we were planning on getting married soon and all that. And she was working after she completed her course as a physiotherapist. And then this thought came to me that, why should she work? I'm not working. I feel how a job is. I don't want her to go through that same thing. So I made a goal to have $250,000 all saved away. Okay. Saved, no need to touch, before I would marry Mary. Okay, that was my goal. And the reason was, after marriage, I don't want her to work anymore. And I really want her to live like a queen. Okay, not that, don't work, but then, you're scraping by. Not that situation. All right, so really live large, but, where she will never have to worry about money anymore. Even if something were to happen to me. And that became my driving force. In 1 year, I, hit that goal. And, Mary and I got married. I was 25 at the time when we got married. And that, by that time, I learned the importance of having a goal and a dream. It's almost magical when you have a dream which you feel from inside. Okay, not just adopting somebody else's dream. Okay, that's okay, but when you have a very personalized reason for achieving something big, all right, where there is no second option. If you don't hit it, there's nothing else. You have to make it happen. Okay, that kind of a thing, and it makes it gives meaning to your life. It's almost magical what people can achieve. So ever since, I have never lived a day without a strong dream. All right. So after we got married, my next dream was to have $100,000 saved away again before my first child was born. Okay. So again, with the next less than a year, that happened. My daughter was born the next year. By 26, I was a father. Okay. And then the next dream was to have $200,000 before my next child was born, and that took another 1 year, and that was done. And soon my wife told me, I cannot be popping out kids for every goal that you are going to have. So let's relax that a bit. And so after that, it was other goals. All right. Growing up, my parents, we never had a car. All right. So my second year in the business, I bought them a car in India. Whatever I could at that time was a brand new Maruti Zen. Okay, that was my second year in the business. And then over the last few years, every few years, I have upgraded their cars, from Zen to something else, to something else, to something else. Just a few years back, I got them Mercedes-Benz GL. All right. So every time there was a compelling reason of doing something, okay, even if it was material, but the idea behind why I wanted it was so strong. Okay, that was personal. And it really gave me a lot of driving force, okay, a lot of courage to do things which otherwise I was afraid of doing. All right. During my second year, I started traveling and growing markets outside of Bahrain. Okay, Bahrain is a very small country. And after I resigned my job, I was free to travel. So I started traveling to other GCC countries and expanding business. A couple of years later, I went to Africa for the very first time with Manoj, Balaji, and Chirian. We went there. We went to Kenya. Did not know anyone. Just went there and stayed there for almost a month. And we signed up a few people. All right, through our contacts, through talking to people on the street. It was fun. Okay, it is fun to do our business, especially when you have people with you whom you love. Okay, who are your friends, who are close to you. It's so much fun. All right. Now, I definitely had Manoj and Balaji, who were very good friends of mine even before the business. But within just a few weeks of other people coming into the business, many of them became very good friends of mine. Okay. So it is not required that, we need to have friends from before, if that happens, very well. But even if it's not, there are many people who have that common goal whom we can become very friendly with and enjoy spending time with. And we can get into that friendly relationship with them within a few weeks, maybe a month, 2 months. All right. But once we start enjoying doing the activities with people, it's fun. All right. So then I went to, from Kenya, I went to Uganda, and the business started, growing slowly. Now I need to tell you something. It definitely this happened in a very good way, and I was very excited with the speed with which my business was growing. Okay, especially the third year in the business, I was invited to be a V counsel. Okay. The 6th year, the company invited me to be associate V partner. And within another couple of years, I was invited to be a V partner. So by the time I was about 30 years old, I was a V partner. All right. And now, while I'm telling you all this, it's very important to tell you also that when after Mary and I got married, okay, we did not go for a honeymoon. It was my 3rd year in the business, and the business was growing, and it needed me to be there. Okay. Now, for me, it was not a difficult choice to make. I did not have to think for 10 days to decide whether, should I go for honeymoon or should I go after my network. It was, it didn't even take any time. And immediately after a wedding, there was some challenge with the network in Dubai. And I immediately went there, stayed there for a month and handled it. Okay. But one of the biggest sacrifices was not just that. All right. It was that when my first child was born, I was not there. Okay. My daughter was born without me being there. I met the first time I saw my daughter was after 3 months. The day when my daughter was born, I was in Oman doing a series of trainings. And after that, I went to another market, and long story short, by the time I actually saw my daughter for the first time, it was 3 months already. Okay. So now, any success worthwhile, there is a price to pay. Okay. There is no other option. It's just common sense. You go to a shop and buy something, you have to pay money. Okay, there's a price to pay for it. Success has a price. And if we pay that price without bargaining, without arguing with life, why should I do this? Can I not do only this much? Why should I do this much? The moment we get into that, we are wasting time. All right. The same way you go to a shop, the fastest way you can get what you want is just pay the price what it asks for, and then you can walk away with it. The moment you start bargaining with a shopkeeper, you're just delaying the time needed to get what you want. All right. Now, in life, there's no shopkeeper to counter your offer. Life is, this is the price. You want, you pay the price. If not, good luck. So, looking back, I don't think that was a sacrifice. Okay, all the small and big sacrifices, so-called sacrifices that I made, it doesn't feel like sacrifice. If I had to do it again, I would do it 1,000 times because of that, the family have what they have today. All right. So the only thing I can think of is how grateful and how thankful I was for the opportunity. Okay. I knew how important an opportunity is because I did not have much opportunities, even while trying to apply for a college or trying to get a job or, going into Middle East, whatever. There was, options. I could do this, I could do this, I could do that. But at the end of the day, those options were not very different from each other. Okay, this one paid maybe 20% more money than this one. But then it required more time, and things like that. So they were not really big opportunities. And the only opportunity that I felt was a serious opportunity was when I got offered the job with Unilever. All right. And I just grabbed that opportunity. I was willing to do whatever to make that opportunity happen. Okay. I went out of the way and got the license. And after I got the license, it was a combination of this strong intention that we have, which helps us achieve things. All right. So, and when I got the opportunity finally, and there was a delay of a few weeks, I made the sacrifice being there every morning just to make sure that I don't lose that opportunity. Okay. And that was an opportunity for what? I mean, $500 a month. Every 3 months I would get a bonus. Adding all that would make my pay almost about $1,000 a month. That's it. And for that opportunity, I was willing to do all that. And here I have an opportunity where I can make that much amount of money in just a few hours every day. So the sacrifice, the so-called sacrifice, is not a sacrifice. It is just common sense. All right. We will not get a lot of opportunities in life. Whoever tells you that, they're lying. You can go to Africa, you can go to many countries around the world and see for yourself. There are not many opportunities. Okay, even in US, people call it the land of opportunities. Okay, there are options. All right, there are tons of options, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, when you weigh the options out, one is a little bit better than the other. That's about it. When we say opportunity, that's something that completely changes lives, transforms your life for generations to come. We don't have much opportunities like that. All right. So whatever we get, whenever we get, we just have to grab onto it. All right. And just refuse to let it go. Now, there will be challenges, there will be difficulties, there will be all kinds of things, all right? And the challenges and difficulties are going to be there for anything, okay? It is going to be there whether you're doing a job or whether you're studying or whether you are working in a business or anything, okay? And the challenges are not like 100 times more for the business just because the opportunity is big. The challenges are not that big, okay? They're different, all right? We face different kind of challenges in the business, but that's about it, all right? It is not wildly bigger or different than other challenges that we might otherwise face, all right? So because I knew the value of the opportunity throughout my life, after I started the business, anytime there was an occasion for me to pay the price, I did not need to think for even a fraction of a second. I was there ready to do and give more than what was required. All right. And probably that is one of the reasons for getting faster results. Okay. So you have that opportunity for paying the price every day. Okay. The problem with a lot of us is that we sit back and then we start bargaining with life. How many more presentations should I do? How many more people should I talk to? How many times do I have to rebuild? How many new markets do I have to do? Why are so many people quitting? Just waste time. That's what we do. So stop bargaining. Okay, wholeheartedly, just pay the price. All right. Now, I did not always think this way. I did not always have this mindset. When I started, my mindset was also like that of a moron, of a loser. Okay, I hated working hard. I did not have so much of courage or whatever. I was lazy also. All right. I complained a lot. I blamed others. So, it was not like I had this mindset from the time I was born. No, I mean, this mindset change happened throughout my journey in the business. Okay. Let me share with you some of the key incidents, all right, which really changed my mindset. Okay. Now, every few days something happened during my conversation with Chief, or some conversation with Dato Sri, or some trainings I attend. There are small things that help shape my mindset. But looking back the last many years, there have been some incidents, some things that completely changed my mindset. Okay, so the first one was in my second month in the business. My upline, Mahendra Kumar, he gave me a book to read. Okay, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And again, like the magical moments in life, you still remember them, right? So I still remember that the time I read the book the first time. I picked it up around I think 8 o'clock in the evening, and I just couldn't let the book down until I finished. I finished it around 1 o'clock. I was so excited I couldn't sleep. This idea that we can earn money this way, and this is the concept of money. This is how rich people behave. It's not some luck or lottery. The whole thing was new to me, and I just couldn't sleep. So I called Manoj, who was because he worked in a hotel as a manager. He was still awake at that time. He was still at work, and I just blabbered to him for almost an hour about the things that I read from the book. And he was excited too after listening to it. But that was the first thing that completely changed my mindset, the big paradigm shift, so to speak. So Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then I read the Cash Flow Quadrant. So both were the first ones that really shook me and gave me a completely different perspective. All right. So in life, things happen which completely changes your perspective. And if you stick on in this business and go through the system that your uplines give you, you will go through these changes. Now, some of you will go through these changes slowly, and some of you, when you read a book or go through a training, it would be like a truck hitting you. It changes things fast. So then the next thing that changed my mindset was this training Chief did when he came to Bahrain. I think that was in my 4th month or 5th month. I don't exactly remember. But, he did a training for a few hours, and that changed my mindset about networking, okay, about this company, about this concept of rhythm, about the founders, all right? And that gave me that tremendous belief in the opportunity and the company, all right? And once, that I internalized that belief, it was like, you become unstoppable, all right? When you talk to people, that belief just flows out, all right? It's not just casual talk. People can see it and they can feel it, all right? So that was the second major turning point, all right? The next one was, again, a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Dato Sri recommended that book, and I read it. And the 7 habits, it just completely changed the way I would approach life, all right? The things that I wanted to do. So now I started focusing on what was really important in life, in business, and things like that, instead of just getting busy every day with just routine things, all right? So that changed my life, all right? And then the 4th one that really changed the whole paradigm was a training that I attended in my second year in the business. Okay, there was a training in Malaysia, a training for 7 days, and this training was conducted by the founders. It is similar to the ISB training we have today. Okay, it was not called ISB at that time; it was called something different. But that was the training. I mean, I went to attend that training. And in those 7 days, a lot of my limiting beliefs were broken. Okay? A lot of things that I thought I cannot do. Not because I cannot do, but just in my mind, I thought I cannot do, or it's not important, or all these kinds of limiting beliefs that we have. A lot of them were broken in those 7 days. And I came back and there was a completely different version of mine. And I remember after coming back, almost everyone who met me during that first few days, they told me, you are different. You sound different. You're different. All right. And that's what, that did to me. So there were many other things, but like I told you, this were the main few things that happened in the very first few years of the business that changed me from having a loser mindset, complaining, fearful, lazy guy, to slowly mold me into somebody who would work hard, somebody who's not hesitating to pay the price, somebody who is willing to do things what needed to be done, even though I'm afraid of it. So that change happened, and that really helped me to become who I am today. All right. So what I'm trying to tell you is, you have to keep moving forward along the path your uplines are telling you. Okay? Your uplines are guiding you. They have been through that journey already. Okay? They know where the traps are. They know what to avoid. They know how to overcome something. And they have made the journey actually more easier for you. Okay? So you just have to be humble enough to just follow it. All right, that's basically what you need to do. And these people, our uplines, they are there to hold our hands when needed. Most of them will, even work with you when you have challenges. Occasionally do your work that you should be doing. But if you are not there with them, they cannot do your work. Okay? They might be able to do it for a little bit, for a few days, but they cannot do it forever. Okay? So you have to do what you have to do. And don't expect that, my upline should be doing this, this person should be doing that. Don't get into that entitlement mindset. Okay? That destroys people. You are not entitled for anything. The opportunity itself is a gift. You did not work hard for it. Okay? You did not go out, looking out for opportunity every day. It happened. Okay, you had an open mind, fair enough, but the fact that you got the opportunity was not because of any extra work that you did. So this itself is a gift. So let's get rid of the entitlement mentality, okay? Because that destroys people. And that's one of the biggest reason why kids of successful people or rich people, most of them end up broke because they get this entitlement mentality right from the childhood. Okay, so they're not hungry. They expect everybody else to do things for them, and that destroys their life. So nobody owes you anything. All right. It's not that your uplines don't care for you. It's not that they don't love you or anything. It's just that what you have to do, you have to do. Okay. It's like, I mean, you have kids. So you love your kids. But can you do their studies for them? No, that's not possible, right? You can, get them into the best school. You can buy them the best books, get them the best, tutors, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the work they have to do, they have to do. You cannot write the exam for them. You cannot go into a job interview for them. You cannot work in the job for them so that they can get a promotion. And in spite of the fact that you love your kids so much, you still cannot do this. So your uplines might care so much about your success and everything, but what you got to do, you got to do. All right. Nobody else can do it for you. Now, before I finish, let me share with you one of the most simplest but the most powerful messages I have received from Dato Sri Vijay. Okay, it's a very simple message, but it's very powerful. And he says, there's only one way to fail in our business. That's it, just one way. And that is if you quit. It's a very simple message, but like I said, it's very powerful. So as long as you don't quit, you will never fail. It might take longer for you compared to somebody else, but as long as you keep going, as long as you keep doing the things every day, and as long as you don't quit, you will make it. It's like a guarantee. What makes people quit is their laziness, failures, and things like that. Laziness is because of lack of a compelling dream. If you have a dream, if you have a compelling dream, you cannot be lazy. All right. So I believe that nobody is lazy. Okay. I personally believe nobody is lazy. It's just that they haven't found their compelling dream yet. And the day you find it, the moment you find it, you become a completely different person. Okay. You will do things much beyond your capacity. All right. And if you want to find compelling dreams of yours, you cannot find it by, watching TV, or just wasting time. You have to hang around with people who are motivated, who have dreams, because, that's how we get changed by watching, by observing people. All right. Our brain, the way God has given us, it's a very unique thing. Okay. We learn the best by observing people. Okay. It's how our brain is hardwired. So that's why, Chief and Dato Sri keeps repeating, monkey see, monkey do, because it is true. It is scientifically proven. You want to help somebody change, you just exhibit that behavior. Like a simple example is, have you seen mothers feed children, right? I mean, toddlers and kids who are 8 months old or 10 months old or whatever. So the mother grabs the food in a spoon and brings the spoon closer to the kid's mouth. Now, what does the mother do to get the kid open his or her mouth? Does the mother give a training on how to open the mouth? No, the mother just opens her own mouth, right? And then the kid opens the mouth. All right. Monkey see, monkey do. And that's how our brain is hardwired. All right. We, even without our knowledge, subconsciously, we absorb things from the people around us. So the more you hang around with people who are lazy, no dreams, complain about everything, that's what we, without our knowledge, we will mimic that. All right. That's what we will end up becoming. So, the cure for laziness is having a compelling dream. And the way to have the dream is by, interacting more with people who are self-driven, who have that compelling dream. All right. And failure, the other reason why people quit is failure. And the failure thing is very, it's a funny thing because society has brainwashed us to think failure as something bad. You're in school, you fail an exam, bad. You do something, assignment, fail, bad. But failure, which in our case, most people equate rejection to failure. Okay, failure is nothing but somebody wise has said, a stepping stone to success. Right? It's a stepping stone to success. What does that mean? It means that if you want to reach somewhere, okay, even if it's 10 feet away or 20 feet away, you don't just jump in one shot and reach there. You walk, all right? So every step you take actually takes you closer to your goal where you want to reach, but you still haven't reached there, all right? So technically, in society's terms, every step you take is a failure because you haven't reached your goal, right? So failure is a stepping stone to success. It is not end of the world. It's end of the world for losers, all right? But as long as you keep going, you will achieve your goal, all right? Now, you will meet dream stealers. You will meet people who will make fun of you. That is always there. And people, I want you to understand this. People are unconsciously jealous of those who are more successful than them. Okay? It's just unconscious. Some of them are consciously jealous, but even if not, people are unconsciously jealous of those who are more successful than them. Okay? When people have not achieved anything significant, they rely on comparing themselves with other people who are lesser than them, for them to feel superior, for them to feel that they are somebody, okay? And when the people they've been comparing with throughout their life, when they start rising and achieving something, it makes them very uncomfortable, all right? Suddenly, it's like your success shines a spotlight on their failure. And the thing is, with jealous people is that they don't have the guts to work hard and pay the price like the way you do. So they resort to going behind your back and making fun of you. Okay? See, if they had the courage to work hard and pay the price, then your success will actually inspire them, because your success becomes a model and inspiration for them that they can also become successful. But for the people who don't have the courage to pay the price, to work hard, and achieve that thing what you have, then they become jealous. Okay? So these jealous people, most of them talk behind your back. All right, they won't do it in front of you, because then you will call them out, especially because they are telling lies. One thing I want you to understand is there's nothing you can do about them. Okay, there are plenty of people like that around the world, and if you stop to take care of every person who talk bad about you, you will die poor. You will die old and poor. All right. So if you want to do something for the people who, if you want to do something to the people who are, making fun of you, then the best thing is become successful. Okay. The more you advise them, the more you try to change them, the more hostile they become. Okay. So if people have hurt you in the past, if they keep trying to pull you down, do not waste your time thinking of revenge. Okay. And like I said, getting back to them is very simple. Just be happy and successful. Your success is the best revenge. Your happiness and success will drive them nuts. Okay. You don't need to talk shit about them or plot revenge. All right. They, if you might have plenty of people who say, oh, this is a scam business. This guy is doing scam. They give sarcastic comments on social media or whatever. All right. Ignore and become successful. Okay. When you buy your first car, their jealousy just grows up. They will say, oh no, he's just lucky, he got lottery, and then they start talking more bad. Okay. And then you go out and become more successful. And the first time maybe you buy a Toyota and they will say, oh, you took a loan or you got lottery or whatever. And then they get onto the motorbike and they go. And after a year, they see that now you have upgraded the Toyota to a German car. And now they're fuming with anger and jealousy and all that stuff. When you buy your new apartment in the city, they are like crazy. They just don't know what to say, because if they talk more shit about you, they look stupid. All right. So don't stoop to the level of people who are, jealous, who are trying to pull you down. Dream stealers are everywhere, and a lot of dreams have been killed by negative people. I just pray that your dream is not one of that. Okay. So just focus. All right. The most important thing is focus. If you lose focus, that is when you start paying attention to all these things happening around you. All right. So maintain your focus. How do you maintain focus? Have goals. All right. Have short-term goals, have long-term goals, have weekly goals, have income goals, have BV goals, whatever. Okay. But have goals. Have goals every week. Whether your goal is to make your wife live like a queen, or your kids to be born a millionaire even before they're born, or whatever. Okay. Or to buy a new car, whatever it is. Have goals, have dreams, like I said, long-term, short-term, weekly, whichever way. Goals make sure that you remain focused. Our mind is very powerful, but the power can be harnessed only when you're focused. It's like the lens. Most of you would have done this experiment in school. You hold a lens in the sunlight, and you keep a paper underneath that. The paper will burn in a few seconds or maybe a minute. Okay. You remove the lens, you hold the paper out in the sun. You can leave it out there for years. It will not burn. Same sun. Focus makes our mind very powerful. All right. And the best way to remain focused every day is by having goals. So I wish you all the best. All right. This is the time where you can shine and you can do more than you have ever done, because the entire world is looking for opportunity. They're looking for opportunity from people who are credible, whom they can trust. So it is our responsibility to reach out to the people whom we know and share with them the opportunity and help them become successful. All right. So wish you all the best, and max out from home. And I pray that you and your loved ones are safe and well always. God bless.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, VP Arun. So many things to learn from your journey. It was amazing. It was amazing. Thank you so much again.